Hi friends, let us welcome back to our channel. So that is Point Out. So as a part of NCRT series, so we have started 8th class polity. After completion of the 8th class, then we have moved to the 9th class polity. Okay, so then we have discussed about the geography. So the first chapter, okay, the earth in our solar system. Okay, so but before going to that, so let's revisit what we have discussed in the 8th class polity. So in the 8th class polity, so we have discussed many chapters. So firstly, the Indian Constitution. So the Indian Constitution is similar to the football game. So we all know that in the football game, so the forward players, the midfielders and the defense players, they are unable to touch the ball through the hands. They only wanted to kick through the legs or the body parts, but they are unable to touch through the hands. But when it comes to the goalkeepers of the both teams, they have the access to touch the ball through the hands. So this is an exception. Similar to our Indian Constitution, so Indian Constitution has certain rules and regulations such that everyone should wanted to follow. But there are some exceptions. Okay, so to bring out the equality in all in our society. Okay, so constitution is nothing but the set of rules and regulations similar to the football game, and there are some exceptions like goalkeepers. Okay, so this is about the Indian Constitution. Secondly, we have discussed about the understanding secularism. In understanding secularism, so we clearly understood what is secularism. So that is, so separation of the religion. Okay, separation of the religion from the power. So that is politics, even for, okay, politics or in the field of UPSC. So completely separation, so not making involvement of religions in the power. Okay, so this is nothing but the secularism. And further we have discussed about the parliamentary form of government. So in the parliamentary form of government, so we have seen about the Lok Sabha, about the Rajya Sabha, and how Prime Minister is going to be selected and their duties. Okay, so then we have moved to the chapter, so that is judiciary. So whenever our fundamental rights, if they are violated, for us the only thing, for every common man, so the only one solution, if the violated person, even he might be the Prime Minister of India or the Chief Minister or the President, or even it might be the white collar job people, for the common man, so there is only one solution to defend them, so that is judiciary system. But in reality, so it's not happening to the full potential. So still we are seeing the discrimination in the money, in the positions, okay, in the power. So upper, okay, so those who are have high strength, they are dominating on the weak people. So this is what happening. And further we have learned about the marginalization. So that is understanding marginalization. So we have realized the complex phenomenon of marginalization. Especially we have studied about the Adivasis marginalization. Okay, so because of the marginalization, so Adivasis were they are projected in the society as inferior and other group of people as superior. So because of that, they lacked the opportunities, they are unable to grab proper education, they are unable to grab they are unable to occupy white collar jobs. They didn't occupy in the first scholar jobs. Okay, so they did not get proper chance to involve in the politics. They are dominated, they are discriminated, they are exploited. So because of the complex phenomenon, so that is marginalization. Okay, so in many domains they are exploited. The major one reason, so that is marginalization. So we all know that marginalization means they are minor. Okay, so their ratio will be less compared to other group of people. And in this marginalization, so we have seen Adivasis marginalization, minorities marginalization, Muslim community marginalization, and various we have seen. And next further chapter, so we have understood confrontization of marginalization. So that is, so we realized that marginalization is a complex phenomenon. So then we need to address such issues. So for that, government introduced many laws and policies to address such issues. Okay, so we have seen the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes law. So that is, it says that atrocities of 1979. Sorry for that, I don't know properly, but this is the law. So which was introduced by the government of India, so to address the issues of the Adivasis, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes against the violence which was done by the other community group of people. Okay, so this is how confrontization of marginalization taken place. And further, we have discussed about the public facilities. Okay, public facilities. So we have understood what are the essential goods for the common citizen. Okay, so whether it might be the poor, whether it might be the middle class, whether it might be the rich, whoever it might be, so he needs to lead a dignity of life in this society. So he had that right to live such a dignity full of life. So for that, so the government introduced public facilities such that irrespective of their financial conditions, they need to lead a dignity of life. Okay, for example, essential goods like kerosene, dal, rice, pulses, and salt, sugar. So these are the essential goods in every single day. Okay, everyday life. So the government will take initiation so such that to supply for them. Okay, to supply for them. So these are comes under the public facility. And also the water will also comes under public facility. Providing of the tube lights at the roads. So this all comes under public facilities. And at the last chapter, we have discussed about the social laws and justice. So in the social laws and justice, so we have seen so how to access our rights. Suppose a person A, okay, person A. So if someone person B who was in authority, so he violated the fundamental rights of the person A. So for him to confront this person, he has the only one weapon, so that is laws and policies. Okay, so he can defend himself through laws and policies, okay, by addressing the judiciary system. Okay, and one more thing we have realized, so before the law all are equal irrespective of the discrimination. Okay, whether it might be the male, female, or whether it might be the gender discrimination or caste, creed, or the financial conditions, whether it might be the poor or the rich. But in reality it's not happening, but ideally, so this is the case. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in the polity. After completion of the polity, so we have moved to the ninth class polity. So in that we have completed the first chapter, but we have not continued up to that. Okay, we have not completed. So in the further classes I will try to again step in that, and I will try to complete that. Okay, for that I am sorry. Then we have started a new subject, so that is geography. So in the geography, the earth in the solar system. So that chapter we have completed. So in that chapter, so we have studied various topics regarding asteroids, meteoroids, regarding the sun, regarding the planets, okay, regarding the stars, regarding the moons, and we have studied about the constellations. So that is, so in the night sky through stars forms the patterns. So that patterns is nothing but the constellations. Okay, in the earth in the solar system, so again we have studied about the in detail about the planets, various, regarding the Mercury we have understood. Next, for the Mars, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus and Venus. Okay, so 8 planets, and again we have studied about the dwarf planet, so that is Pluto. And at the end of this chapter we have realized about the galaxies, okay, that is Milky Way galaxies, and we realized how small in this complete universe. And further we have discussed one more chapter, but we are unable to move forward in the geography. I'm really sorry for that. Okay, but anyhow one day I will step in that and I will explain, okay, effectively, such that it will become helpful and it will become, okay, a proper resource for the future aspirants, those who are preparing for that. Okay, one day definitely it will become happens, I will guarantee for that. Not now, but one day definitely it will, and I believe in that. Okay, so up to that I will move this one slowly, okay, to the forward. And today we are starting a new series, okay, a new series, so that is economics. Okay, that is okay, so that is economics. So in these economics topics, so we are today's class, okay, so after the completion of the economic series, so we are going to understand every concept of the economics, from the microeconomics to the macroeconomics, every topic in depth with a clear concept, okay, proper understanding. Okay, I will make the concepts very simple. Okay, concepts are very simple. So today we are discussing about, in the economics topic we are going to cover what is economics and essence of it. Okay, first, what is economics and its essence of it. Secondly, scarcity principle. And thirdly, so this allocation of resources. And regarding the types of the economics, whether it might be the microeconomics, whether it might be the macroeconomics, we are going to understand. And further we have discussed about the what is demand. Okay, so these are the things which we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay friends, so listen carefully, understand clearly. Okay, focus on understanding the concepts. So firstly, let us see what is economic, okay, through an example. Okay, so let us see. uh, Suppose in our country India, nearly 140 crore of people of the population. Okay, 140 crore people of the population. So in that, so nearly 25 percentage of the people were below poverty line. Okay, 25 percentage of the people were below poverty line. So suppose Indian government wanted to so feed every person. So Indian government decided, so no one can should wanted to sleep uh, without food. Okay, so no individual person should not wanted to sleep without with empty stomach. So the government wanted to take a initiation to fulfill their stomachs. Okay, so that is 25% in the 140 crore people. So those who are below poverty line. So for that below poverty line, so the government has taken the initiation so to fulfill their stomachs. Okay, so they have decided. So the government decided that so it wanted to spend 100 rupees per a person per a day to fulfill their stomachs. Okay, so per day nearly 3500 crore rupees will takes place, and per year nearly 25% of the budget takes place. Suppose 50 lakhs crore yearly budget, so in that 25% of the budget goes for this food. Okay, okay, so 25% of the budget will goes to the food. So then what about the other resources? Whether it might be the education, defense, hospitality, road facilities, regarding the infrastructure and various. So what about them? Okay, so the remaining 75% will not be the sufficient for this leftover one. Okay, so this is what happens. So now the economics comes into the play. So this is going to be the game changer. Okay, so whatever the resources, so at everything there are limitations, there are constraints. Okay, we are not get to the fullest, so there are constraints, so we need to accept that constraints. So irrespective of that constraints, optimum allocation of these resources is nothing but the economics. Okay, so I will once again simplify the concept. So here the whether it might be the resources or whether it might be the budget, whether it might be the food, they are limited, they are not unlimited, such that to access everyone to the full potential. Okay, so that scarcity of the resources optimally allocating is nothing but the economics. Okay, is nothing but the economics. So economics is says that scarce resources optimally allocating wherever it's needed. Okay, so this is nothing but the economics. So now let's understand about the scarcity principle. Scarcity principle. Okay, uh, uh, suppose let us see the what we say trees. So from the trees, so we will get the paper. Okay, and trees are the limited, they are not unlimited, and trees are useful for the many okay, they help in many ways. Okay, so for the sake of the papers we can't cut all the trees, we are able to access only certain amount of the trees. Okay, So scarcity principle says that. So we have the resources, okay? We have the resources, we have everything to the limited, up to our accesses, but not up to our greediness, okay? So they are limited, they are not unlimited. So scarcity principle says that, so less number of resources than the required, ఓకే. సో మనకు ఎంతైతే కావాలో అంతే ఉంటుంది, బట్ మనకు కావాల్సిన దానికంటే ఎక్కువ మనకి లభించదు, ఓకే. సో దాన్నే మనం ఏమంటాం, స్కార్సిటీ ప్రిన్సిపల్ అంటాం, ఓకే. నౌ లెట్స్ సీ ఎకనామిక్స్. సో ఎకనామిక్స్ ఆర్, సో ఫస్ట్ మనకి ఎకనామిక్స్ అంటే ఏంటో అర్థమైంది. సో ఎకనామిక్స్ అంటే ఏంటిది, సో ఏవైతే స్కార్ రిసోర్సెస్ ఉన్నాయో, సో మనకు కావాల్సిన దానికంటే సో తక్కువ ఉన్నాయి, లిమిటేషన్స్ అనేటివి ఉన్నాయి. సో ఆ తక్కువ ఉన్న వాటిని ఏ విధంగా ప్లానింగ్ ద్వారా సో ప్రాపర్గా ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేస్తే సో ప్రతి ఒక్కటి ఫుల్ఫిల్ అవుతుంది. సో దాన్నే మనం ఏమంటున్నాం, ఎకనామిక్స్ అంటున్నాం, ఓకే. సో ఎకనామిక్స్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ద optimal allocation of the resources, of the scarcity of resources. So this is nothing but the economics. Now let's understand. So types of the economics. Economics are two types, okay. Economics are two types. So firstly microeconomics and secondly macroeconomics, okay. So microeconomics and macroeconomics, okay. So microeconomics and macroeconomics. So microeconomics says that it is a individual, okay. Before going to that types of economics, so let us understand a small concept, so that is economic activities, okay. Economic activities. So it consists of three things: primary, secondary and tertiary. So let's understand clearly. So economic activities, so in that firstly primary, secondly secondary and thirdly tertiary. So economic activities says that, so the collection of primary activities, secondary activities and tertiary activities is nothing but the economic activities. So now primary activities says that, so extraction of the raw materials, for example the gold, so it comes under the primary, okay. So the raw materials comes under the primary activities. Next secondary, so whatever these are raw materials, so this conversion of this raw materials into the products, it comes under the production process or the secondary stage, okay. Secondary stage. So whatever this production things, either accessing the services, okay. So the gold chain was made, so for that production he goes to the bank, so here bank provides the service, okay. So such level of things we termed it as tertiary. So this group of primary, secondary and tertiary is nothing but the economic activities, okay. So economic activities are clear. Now let's address the types of economics, so that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. So microeconomics says that, so it's an individual of economic activities. అంటే సో మైక్రో ఎకనామిక్స్ ఏం చెప్తుంది అని అంటే, సో మనకి ఎకనామిక్ యాక్టివిటీస్ ఉన్నాయిగా, అందులో 3 ఉన్నాయి, ఒకటి ప్రైమరీ, సెకండరీ ఇంకా టెరిషరీ. సో ఏదైనా ఇండివిజువల్ సో కంప్లీట్గా ఒక ప్రైమరీనే తీసుకోండి, లేదు అని అంటే కంప్లీట్గా ఒక సెకండరీనే తీసుకోండి, లేదంటే కంప్లీట్గా ఒక టెరిషియరీనే తీసుకోండి. ఓకే ఓకే, ఎగ్జాంపుల్తో చూద్దాం. దానికంటే ముందు మ్యాక్రో చూద్దాం. సో మ్యాక్రో అంటే ఏంటిది? అగ్రిగేట్ ఆఫ్ ఎకనామికల్ యాక్టివిటీస్. సో మైక్రోలో ఇండివిజువల్ అంటే ప్రైమరీ, లేదు అని అంటే సెకండరీని కన్సిడర్ చేసుకుంటాం, లేదు అని అంటే టెరిషియరీని కన్సిడర్ చేసుకుంటాం. ఇదేంటిది? మైక్రో. మ్యాక్రో అంటే కాంబినేషన్ ఆఫ్ what we say primary, secondary and tertiary. So aggregate of these three will comes under the macroeconomics. Okay, so now let's understand through an example. Suppose agriculture తీసుకోండి. So throughout our complete India, if you consider agriculture, so నువ్వు ఏంటి, అగ్రికల్చర్ విల్ కమ్స్ అండర్ ద primary sector. So you are targeting individual sector. Okay, only what we say primary. Okay, primary sector, we are only concerning about the primary sector. So it will comes under the microeconomics. Now let's see another example. Suppose inflation throughout our country India. So inflation involves primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So the combination of these three. Okay, so aggregation of these three. So it's nothing but the macroeconomics. So this is all about the microeconomics and macroeconomics. Okay, so today we have discussed what is economics and regarding the scarcity principle and economic activities, that is primary activity, secondary activity and tertiary activity, and further we have discussed about the types of economics. Okay, in further chapters we are going to discuss about the demand, law of demand, and regarding the opportunity cost and various some other topics. Okay friends, so this is all about today's class and I hope you have understood the concepts very clearly. Okay, so in the further classes I will try to simplify the concepts such that even LKG student can understood easily. Okay, so in such a way I will make it the classes, and in the future definitely it will become as a remarkable place for the future aspirants. Okay, so this is all about today's class. So thank you friends, I hope you people were enjoying the classes. Jai Hind.